Hey, Satanico here once again for Godlovescomics, and this will be Swamp Thing, Alan Moore Swamp Thing, reading part 6. And this is issue number 37, but it is only, we've read through 16 issues so far, and this is only the very beginning of the third graphic novel collection, trade paper collection. So we still have quite a long journey to go. Probably going to be at least a dozen episodes of these readings, so will be quite a lot unless I go crazy and do 4 hours of reading in one fell swoop, but that's pretty unlikely because Swamp Thing's voice really is starting to hurt my throat a little bit, and YouTube does not upload 4-hour videos so well. But anyway, this is the cover, obviously, of number 37. You can see a slight change once again in the creative team. Now it's Rick Veitch with John Constantine. Rick Veitch filling in for Steve Bissette this time. And we're just coming off the Nuke Face papers where you had a very deranged man who was deformed and deranged and completely out of his mind, and who knows what else, but who was drinking radioactive waste, and all that entails the madness and the destruction upon his own body and on the environment itself. He was almost a metaphor for nuclear energy and its and all of its hazards and devastation. And part of that devastation was that he, in his delusions and insanity, poured some of his radioactive waste into Swamp Thing's mouth, as if he was sharing a beer. But and that just disintegrated and destroyed Swamp Thing in the way that you would expect nuclear waste to destroy the environment, to destroy plant life, vegetation, flora and fauna. So as you can see from this cover, Swamp Thing in his physical self is pretty much destroyed, but his body, or his spirit to some degree, is has been released into the green, where he's hoping to survive and to reform eventually from the swamp, which was sort of how he evolved in the first place, or originated, I should say. So that is where we're picking up here. Day 1. Deanna's worried about you, Ab. I mean, I know what with your husband's accident and all, it's been pretty tough, but, well, if we can help or anything. I'm okay, Tim. I'm just a bit worried myself right now. I got this friend who's sort of on vacation, and I just, hope they get back and okay and everything. Any more carrots there? Nope. All the vegetables are gone. Little subtle play there. I mean, she's got a friend that she's worried about. That's obviously Swamp Thing, and then he says all the vegetables are gone, which, to a degree, Swamp Thing is a vegetable, and currently he is checked out. And, oops, one little interesting, you can see all the creativity that goes into every little element of this right here. Growth Patterns is the name, the title of this story, and it is on this tree stump with all the rings. And then you can see originally bottled by Ween and Wrightson, even though maybe it should be originally canned, because that's a can. I'm not sure what this is. This thing right here, it looks like a clam, but a clam with a very furry tongue emanating from it. And who knows to what degree there will be mutations or evolving from whatever waste Nuke Face left behind, or that the nuclear waste company that was dumping stuff in Louisiana's bayou also left behind. So I'm sure there's an element of that forthcoming. And it's worth noting that even though there was a brief cameo, really a one-panel cameo, this is an incredibly important issue and a key issue, if you will, in the sense that it is the first real appearance of John Constantine, Hellblazer, who is clearly based on the Police lead singer Sting. You'll see it more obviously on the next page, I believe, or very soon. He's coming back, Judith. And I'm not going to do his British accent, by the way. Judith, come on, give us a break. I said he's come. It's not a he. You're stupid. Do you know that? Completely stupid, like all the others. It's a massive extragalactic energy field that got drawn into a black hole 8 billion years ago. It's nothing supernatural at all. And yes, I know, it's coming back. Day 3. I am, but where am I? What am I? The soil about me, rich and wet, half swallowing me. I recognize its texture. I am in the swamp. I am the swamp thing. How strange. I thought that I was dead. I try to read Swamp Thing's thoughts, an internal monologue, in a relatively normal voice, and to save my voice for when he's actually speaking, to do this more deep Swamp Thing voice, because it's quite a strain. I'm not very good at it, so I apologize. And here you see Sting, John Constantine. It's questionable whether they even had to. Generally, you have to pay for the rights to get, to use someone's likeness, and this is so clearly Sting's likeness. And they admitted that they used Sting as a, for a character model. But anyway, whatever they did, it worked. And he evolved away from looking exactly like Sting later on. How long have we got? Oh, God, I don't know, a year, maybe less. Bloody hell, John. Now look what you've made me do. She spilled her pills. Are you still having the nightmares, then? No, but that's because I haven't been to sleep for 3 weeks. Please, John, just leave me alone and go. I will need to grow eyes to see the landscape surrounding me, to see the cirrus clouds high above, trailing like the hair across the sky. I must not think too much. I will become exhausted. The sun beats down, warm upon my tender new skin. Sleep now, sleep and grow. So Swamp Thing is reforming. The one strange thing about that line, that he will need eyes to see, is that, as we learned in the anatomy lesson, none of his organs actually worked. They were just replications that a plant imagined in trying to replicate Alec Holland's body. So lungs that didn't really work, kidneys that didn't work. And so technically the eyes shouldn't work either, but I don't know. Maybe I'm overlooking some aspect there. I mean, he is a plant. So, but that's a good question as to whether a plant even can see. Alec, are you around here someplace? I keep getting feelings like you're somewhere near, but I don't know, maybe I'm just imagining? There's a can, and there's a growth. Hello? John Constantine? Come in, please. Come in. I'm sorry about the mess. I don't know. My mother had come in here to clean, When did you get in from London? Yesterday. Judith's cracking, having nightmares. No, not about a little boy with his head around backwards. She didn't say. What have you found out, Benjamin? He's coming back. Great Cthulhu. He sleeps with just like in the books, H.P. Lovecraft. Everyone thinks Lovecraft mama made Cthulhu up, but I know. So how long have we got before he wakes up? About 12, according to charts, and after that, actually, there isn't anything after that. Shall I get Mother to make us some coffee? I may be pronouncing that incredibly wrong. There's a Lovecraft poster there. I'm very familiar with H.P. Lovecraft and with Cthulhu, but I didn't anticipate it coming up, and I'm certainly not well read in Lovecraftian Lovecraftian's oeuvre, so I actually never have heard that word pronounced, I don't think, so I may be pronouncing it wrong. In a case, apologies to Lovecraft fans, and but sorry. Beads of water burst against my skin like large and delicate balloons. She should water the soil and not me. If the droplets magnify the sunlight, I shall burn. It's kind of sweet that he's trying to reform and Abby is watering him. She's just so tender and she loves him so much, and yet there's an element where should be watering the soil, but she's pouring it right on him. I don't know about the insecticide. Still, she is gentle and loving, turning me over in her hands, perhaps checking for insect damage. Yesterday, aphids gnawed at me. It was unpleasant. What is Abby doing now? Insecticide? If my eyes had been formed, she might have damaged them. It stings. I wish that I could tell her not to use it. Perhaps I should concentrate on developing vocal apparatus so that I can tell her where she is going wrong. Ah, no. Is that a hole? You've got some sort of grub that's eaten its way in there or something. I wish I knew more about plants and about how to take care of you. Maybe if I gave you another squirt of insecticide, that would... Abby. Alec, was that you? That little squeaky sound? That should have been squeaky. No more sprays. Stings. Oh, well, pardon me. How about thanks for all the water? She's just so happy. This is pretty funny, and this is also reminds you quite a lot of Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy, which obviously after this, or actually maybe it came before this, but this was certainly infinitely more imaginative. And then, of course, Groot, once he was destroyed, he came back as the miniature little Groot or whatever. But this is so much more interesting how she's actually nurturing Swamp Thing from this little sprout, and he's trying to form vocal cords and eyeballs and everything that allows him to function. It's good of you to see me, sister. Not at all, Mr. Constantine. In times of trouble, we must all of us do what we can. You know, he's coming back, I take it. Yeah, well, I gathered that impression, yeah. Thing is, nobody seems to know who's coming back or from where. Judith says it's a scientific force. Benjamin Cox says it's a primeval monster. All they agree on is that we've got about 12 months. Less, I'd say. Satan, Mr. Constantine. The name of our adversary is Satan, and he's coming back. Stern-faced nun. And there's all the medieval imagery. Good morning. Listen, I can't stay too long today. I have to get up to the home. Hey, what are those splotches of red stuff up here? They kind of look like eyes. Alec, you can see me. Not well, but yes, I can see you. You look beautiful. Abby, what is wrong? Are you crying? No, I'm sorry. It's your voice. You sound like Jiminy Cricket. Oh, God. I'm sorry. I'll shut up in a second. Really? The expression on his face. He is getting his face back. So now he's just this little bloblet with a head. It's pretty funny. And so I just sat and watched until you were all eaten away into this horrible blue slime. I was scared. You took so many weeks to come back. I wasn't sure you'd make it. Neither was I. I had never attempted regrowth before. Never needed to. Until I was poisoned by that terrible derelict. What became of him? I heard that he died. Also, a rumor went around Elysium Lawns about this pregnant woman at the hospital that was connected somehow. But it's also confused. How long will you be rooted here? Perhaps another week. I'm not certain. This is also new. Why do you ask? No reason. Abby, what? I think she kind of likes it. But either way, she's elated that he's back. And that's really sweet. Day 2. You're finally awake then. You were so shattered when you arrived last night. I thought I'd let you sleep and save the questions for later. I guess the situation's pretty bad, huh? Absolutely bloody dismal. They're all going crackers, you know. Except Benjamin. He was crackers to start with. I suppose it'll all be left up to me in the end. Bloody Americans, all mouth and trousers. Yeah. Bigot. What I don't understand is how these South American people intend to bring him back, to generate the energy necessary for something like that. They'd have to have belief levels of the entire population. Yeah, well, that's what they're going to do, isn't it? It's obvious. They'll use all the classic frighteners, werewolves, vampires, haunted houses, dreams. Yeah, well, they needn't bother sending me any nightmares. With me, it'd be like sending coals to Newcastle. Drawing. Someone mentioned earlier if she was drawing any men with heads on backwards. I think it was Benjamin, and sure enough, that's what she's doing. Coals to Newcastle is certainly an inside British joke that probably people outside of Britain wouldn't recognize, but I'm pretty sure Newcastle is a coal mining town. Maybe not anymore, but I think it was once upon a time. Day 12. Okay, this is day 2, and this is day 12, and earlier we were on day 2 and day 1 or whatever, so he's really jumping around in the timeline. Oops, sorry. Oh yeah, there's day 9 next. Oh, where am I? And, well, there's day 9. This is day 11, day 12. Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying day 2. Thinking Roman numerals, but of course it's day 12. Okay. Sorry. Forget that. It's in some chronological order. I awaken. I am striped by the shadows of the late afternoon. Abby will be here soon. She is remarkable, adapting so quickly to a situation even I am only starting to comprehend. I have regenerated using plant tissue untouched by the bio-restorative formula. I do not need it anymore. I am learning so much about how I am, about what I am, and the knowledge is gradually changing me. But what is it changing me into? What am I becoming? I bide my time in this place until I am grown, and I consider this organism that I am. Sometimes I am in awe at its strangeness and complexity. Sometimes I am almost frightened by my own possibilities. Rare occasion where his eyes do not look red anymore. And he has completely reformed himself this time. So he is almost like a fresh, new Swamp Thing who is even more evolved than he was in the past. And no longer any semblance. I mean, he behaves and talks like a human and has a relationship with a human. But perhaps he's more pure than a human now. Emma, listen, it's no good sitting around and fidgeting. I've got to go. Louisiana's a long drive, John. Why don't you wait until the morning? Hey, come on. Emma, will you bloody leave it out? I've got to be there by tomorrow morning. You know, I'm starting to think that my dad was right. Did I tell you what he said about Englishmen? Yes, you did. No, we're not. And if I were ever to meet your dad, I'm going to chin him. Pass me those shirts. Get him yourself. Look, what have I got in Louisiana that we don't have in New York? All right, Emma. You asked for it. You really want to know why I'm going down to Louisiana? Well, all right, I'll tell you. You see, there's this woman. And he's in her back seat. And this is kind of an interesting discussion. Sorry to interrupt again, but Alan Moore is married to an American, Melinda Gabby, so maybe they've had this discussion before where, you know, he says disparaging things about Americans and she tells him what her dad says about Englishmen, so on and so forth. Morning, Miss Cable. How's the boyfriend? Interesting. Abby. Who? I don't know. He knows all about me. You and me. He said, I said I'd tell the people your missus works for us. Works for about her sleeping arrangement. I'm a nasty piece of work, Chief. Ask anybody. You dare threaten her? Look, let's not have any aggravation, eh? My name's John Constantine. That's right. And since for the next 4 days you're going to be about as dangerous as a turnip, there's not much you can do about it. Mind if I smoke? Yes. How could you help me? Because I know what you are, mate, and you don't. Which means something supernatural. But not Thulu, not Satan. The learning was slow and painful, but I know what I am. Cobblers, you're not smart enough. Look at how long it's taken you to realize that you can regrow yourself. And you still haven't worked out the next step. Yeah, look. What do you want, eh? An instruction manual? It's obvious. The next step is figuring out that if you can regrow here, then you can regrow anywhere in the world. Why should I wish to? Transport? Instant transport? You let your body die in one place. You regrow it in another side of the country. You must think slower than you talk. Why do I bother, eh? Look at you, last plant elemental in the entire bloody world, and you don't even know it. Emma was right. It was a waste of time coming here. I should have stayed in New York. Well, it's been nice meeting you, but I can see I've made a mistake. Of course, you, on the other hand, you've made a worse mistake, but that's not my problem. Constantine, wait. Let him go, Alec. He's trying to lead you on. And I've got a bad feeling about this. I'm sorry, Abby, but I have to know. I only wish to talk with him. So where is the danger? Constantine, could you tell me more about myself? I said forget it. It was a bad idea. Anyway, I'm not a Sunday school teacher. I've got places to visit. Places where I'm needed. I'm too busy to sit explaining things to you. If you want answers, you'll have to keep up with me. No promises, mind. Maybe I'll give you the answers, maybe I won't. We'll let it be a surprise. Who do you think you are? That's not the point, love. It's your boyfriend. It's who your boyfriend thinks he is. And until he knows what he is, there'll be something in his life that's incomplete. Something missing. But how shall I find you? Well, that might be a bit of a problem. You see, I move about a lot. You never know where to look for me. I've got friends in London, in Wisconsin, in Washington. They're all rather strange and disturbed friends, I would say, even the nun. And in New York. You see, I share an interest with some very unusual people. It opens a lot of doors. I tell you what, in a week's time, I'll be in a place called Rosewood, just outside Chicago. If you can make it, perhaps we'll have a little chat. See what comes to light. Bye for now. You too, Miss Cable. Constantine, wait. You can't just leave me. In the dark? Alec, it's no use shouting. He's gone. It's too late. She opens the closet. And the creature she's been drawing all along is there. Not only with a twisted around head, but his hand sewed into his back. And drooling. Very disturbing. I'm not sure if this is created by what she drew or if this is the origins of Cthulhu or what exactly. But she screams, "Get it away! Get it away from me! Judith! No, 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 no. Benjamin! Oh, Lord, not again. I'll go to fetch the tongue depressor. Oh, God. Sister Anne-Marie, you're hurting my baby." These people are all, I guess, if telepaths is the correct word, but they can all feel his presence has entered the world and it's affecting all of them. I'm not sure if he's actually having a seizure or she's just misinterpreting as that. Judith, come on, don't go over the edge. And she throws herself out the window. Son, please, open your mouth. Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. I guess she committed suicide and... Sister, stop, you're hurting her. Yep. Alan Moore right there. Definitely Alan Moore, and that looks like Mr. X. And that actually looks maybe like Melinda Gebby. Anyway. It's all right, son. Everything's all right. Now look. She's all dead. Well, she is. Day 17. Oh, well, just when I was starting to get used to being taller than you. But I don't mind. It's good to have you back. Hey, you still owe me a honeymoon. I mean, now that I'm the bride of the creature, I had to get the fringe benefits. I thought next weekend, if the weather holds out, we could head out to the lake that we found. We could just, spend some time together. What do you think?
Rosewood.
What?
Rosewood. I know the name from somewhere.
Nothing.
I'm sorry, Abby. What were you saying?
Nothing. Next, still waters. This was titled Growth Patterns, and over the 17 days, he grew from essentially nothing to a little sprout to full-grown swamp thing again, and his eyes are red again as well. So, and it looks like another descent, if not into hell, into hell's the mouth of hell's creatures. This issue is by Alan Moore's Stan Walk and John Toleben. Stan Walk, another of Swamp Thing alumnus, to eventually do at least an issue or two of Sandman. And a lot of what Neil Gaiman has done on Sandman I see as being very derivative of what I'm seeing from Alan Moore and Swamp Thing, to be honest. She sat all night with him, talking about it, and in the morning nothing had changed. He still had to go. He still didn't like it. The boys are running down to the water. The strange young Englishman Constantine had stepped into their lives and then stepped out again as swiftly, leaving a trail of hints and glimmerings behind him, a trail intended to be followed. The boys are running down to the water, laughing and punching each other, goose-fleshed in the cold gold of the hollow sunlight. He would detach mind from body, sending his consciousness soaring out across America on a knotted kite string of enigma. He said he'd return to her every few days. Embracing him, she did not reply. Hopping gingerly like cranes over the sharp flints, shoving and pushing and dragging and shrieking in the shallows, white figures splashing through the rippled bronze, the boys are running down to the water. Little concerned about this because as nuclear plant guys dumped a couple of canisters of nuclear waste into the bayou, and if it's in this pond, it could kill or mutate or who knows what to these kids if that's why they're showing it. So, and they are swimming. It's unlikely Alan Moore. Yep. Well, Rosewood, Illinois. So that's what's happening. He explained how he would let his present body die, growing new green flesh countless miles away. He asked her if she wished to stay and watch. She said she had to get to work. Shockingly cold, a thrilling fist of ice clenching suddenly around the chest, growing unnoticeably warmer, dispelling the memory of that first Arctic embrace. The water beads in the air around them. They kissed with a curious awkwardness, and then he watched her as she walked away, each loving the other, each hating themselves for being so unfair. Diane Sussman stuck her tongue in his mouth. Hey, no fair splashing. Used my compass point, then rubbed in the ink. Their voices clatter through the still afternoon, rowdy gate crashers at a wake, yet to notice the embarrassed silence. He lay down in a sheltered place and let his intelligence seep out into the undergrowth. His last coherent image was of her face, her white hair and her pale blue eyes, melting into green. The water is all around them now. So he says, geez, lady, I'm doing it as fast as I can. You get it? See, the kid's name is, I got it in first grade, you moron. Say, have I got something sticking to? It's a leech. It's a damn leech. Holy. Oh, no, let me out of here. I'll light a cigarette. We can burn them off. They're all over our legs. Jeez, leeches. I hate leeches. It's okay. Don't panic. They're coming off. Oh, God. Hurry up, man. Oh, gross out. Hey, what's with Nicky? Uh-oh. Huh? Hey, Nicky, you hairbag. Get out of there. The water's full of leeches. Hey, what's up with him? He can't hear us. He can hear us? Hey, Nicky, come on, man. Nicky? Nicky has turned blue-white. And, ooh. So there are bigger leeches underwater than the ones those boys got on them. I don't know if these were I don't know if these were mutated from the... I mean, I'm sure there's some tie-in to the nuclear waste, but I'm not sure. I hate when I do that. I'm not sure if those were mutated from the nuclear waste because they're so human-looking, or if... Who knows? Guess we'll figure that out. As Alan Moore explains it to us, this is called Still Waters, and once again, as I said... Same creative team except for Stan Walk, who, this is a beautiful page and a scary page. He's got an iron cross tattooed to his skull, so unlikely that he's some sort of mutation, from an animal, more likely a corpse or something that was mutated, perhaps. Or, unless he's representative of Cthulhu. I'm not sure. He's had some kind of heart attack or something. Oh, geez, under the water, I can see something. Shut up, that's just shadows. Dark and rich, pumping through our hearts, laced with the silver of stolen adrenaline. We feast when we choose, safe from the desiccating sunlight. Down here, the night goes on forever. We got to get him out of there. We can't just... No, there's leeches. I can't go back in. No, Ronnie, I can see them under the water. Leon, shut it. Shut out the killing day and leave us to the weightless twilight. We breathe in stagnant water. We breathe out roses. One by one, we would detach and go down. We better go and fetch somebody. Listen, Nicky, we'll be right back, okay? Nicky is very dead. But it's hard to imagine this swamp pond being so deep that they go into the deep black recesses, but I guess it's a little bit of poetic license. Down to where the green becomes black. Down to the drowned town. Be submerged. Submerged, the town's mask is eroded away to reveal the fascinating skull beneath. A sparkling current of fish threads itself through a shattered windscreen. Blind things ride down lightless avenues. Home. Welcome to Rosewood, Illinois, pride of the Midwest. Okay, so this wasn't the bayou after all. This is Rosewood, where, of course, it says Kentucky, where the nuclear plant was. Rosewood, Illinois. Over and over he tumbled through an emerald universe, the name a vivid red scribble in his mind. Rosewood. Constantine had said he would meet him in Rosewood. Where? Where had he heard the name before? Had it happened back in the cloudy, half-recollected time when he still believed he was Alec Holland? His intelligence was signal flickering through the vast telephone exchange of roots and tendrils. He tried to concentrate. There came the sudden image of a blonde girl, only a child. There came the rattled boxcars in the night, and a memory of teeth in darkness, bone needles trailing wet thread. And he remembered what had happened in Rosewood. The whole place had gone bad. Something old and thirsty had come flapping down the interstate and settled there. After that, the town grew strangely silent. Whatever happened in Rosewood happened after dark. Vampires? His consciousness, a silver ball, recoiled between the bumpers of pulsing viridian. He tried to think. He had been in Rosewood. There was blood and trouble. Eventually someone had cleansed the town by exploding the dam. Running water, a 1,000-ton wall of iron green, a whole city of water rolling across the fragile dollhouses of Rosewood like judgment. It turned the pale things to bitter dust, then sliced the dust away. Like a bead of mercury, his awareness skittered through the jade maze. Rosewood, he focused upon the word and the surrounding cell web, echoed in response a sudden pang of dark familiarity. He was almost there. Locating a small and solitary seed, he imprinted his coded intellect upon the germ within. Protein balances altered, cells throbbed with new possibilities. He was in the world once more, growing toward the light. An hour later, he broke the surface. Conscious thought returned in thin, translucent layers, solid green melting into a memory of pale blue eyes of white hair. So, vampires emerged in Rosewood. They burst a dam and flooded the entire town that killed them. But some, I guess, evolved or morphed or something, mutated, something survived underwater and continue to thrive. Abby, did you hear what I said? Squirming slowly free from the black soil's embrace, he shouted her name into the green well within him. Her response came back, a startled fluttering, muted by distance, her voice calling from far, far away. Abby, hey, come on. I've had a whole day of people who stare into space. Huh? Oh, Deanna, I'm sorry. I was just, thinking about somebody. Abby, sooner or later you're going to have to face facts. Your husband's a vegetable. Ha 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 ha. In more ways than one. Her actual husband's a vegetable, and the man or the creature that she loves now, well, he's one too. My husband, a vegetable? How did you, what do you mean? Well, Matt, your husband, in the hospital. That's who you were thinking about. Oh, right. Yeah, that's who I was thinking about, sure. Abby, I know it's not easy losing someone. No, you can say that again. Listen, Constantine, I know it ain't easy losing somebody. Sorry, I didn't break it to you easier. I mean, I thought you knew. Yeah, well, I didn't, did I? Since I left her place in New York, I've been down south. Only just got into Chicago. She wanted me to stay, you know. I said, sorry, Emma. Hey, man, don't take everything on yourself. Sooner or later, somebody's got to get left alone. Listen, I'm only stopping over in Chi to see some brothers, them in the hall and the hog back to L.A. Then I'm hauling the hog back to L.A. Why not take a break? We're living over at the surf shop. Cheryl D would love to see you. Sorry, Frank. Got some business to take care of, just outside of town. Tell me again, what happened to Emma? Suicide paper said, threw herself out a window. Well, that's a load of cobblers for a start. Hey, Frank, who's a Fruit Loop? A spitting image of Sting. Obviously using photo reference. What did you say? Oh, geez. Hey, Constantine, come on. Listen, I know this guy. He didn't mean anything. John, please. What did you say? Look, forget it. I mistook you for some other guy. Take it easy now, okay? Listen, you cheap slut. Give me 3 beers over here. And 1 each for our buddies at the bar. Thanks for letting him be, man. He's just some, hey, you broke your glass. You got blood all over your hands. I shouldn't worry yourself about it, Frank. I'm sure it won't be the last. The last time he has blood on his hands. Of course, he feels like he has blood on his hands with Emma committing suicide when he wasn't there. Ronnie, Bill, listen. We've got to tell somebody. Geez, what about his folks? No way. We weren't supposed to be swimming out here. My dad, you know, he'd crucify me. The cops would do worse. But look, don't any of you understand? Or what? We can't just leave Nicky there and not tell anybody. I mean, we took him out there. It's on our hands. Blood on their hands, and you can see the panel there transposed from Constantine's blood dripping down and further down. Really innovative layout. That's bull. It ain't my fault. He wanted to go there. I ain't taking the blame. You want him, you go back for him. I ain't going back. I seen them. They were there. Don't Leon me. I seen them under the water. They were under the water, and they were drinking him. Leon, shut it. Ugh. You didn't see anything, you liar. There wasn't anything there. There weren't no faces, and there weren't no fingers under the water. And anyway, you're all crazy. I'm going home. Yeah, me too. My folks don't like it if I stay out late. I can't believe this. What about Nicky's folks? Nicky's back there, you jerks. He's back there in the water. He was just acting up. He was trying to scare us, that's all. He's probably home by now, I bet. That's where I'm going. Hey, come back. He wasn't acting. Ronnie, you saw him. He was white. Ronnie, his lips, his cheeks, they were all white. Okay, Ronnie, sure. You guys go home. You get on to bed. Let Mom tuck you into bed. Why not? But listen, I ain't leaving Nicky there, okay? You guys are slime. You know that? Just slime. Wow. Slime decorates her bridal veil, rotted artificial flowers clinging to the fish-eaten gauze. Decomposed and delicate, we carry it to the chambers where she waits for us. Waits for us in the dark, swollen, naked, white, heavy with roe. Her time has almost come, and she is suffused with a terrible beauty. Once back in the half-life that she endured while living in the dry lands, her name was Charlene. She worked in the supermarket and worried about her pimples and knew that no man would ever want her. Now the unfulfilled aching has gone. She isn't Charlene anymore. She waits, pale and magnificent in the heavy darkness, for the embrace of her first lover. We call her the Mother. Too massive to hunt, too cumbersome to feed, she hungers while our veins throb with purloined crimson. With nails like pearl switchblades, we open her palms, letting her drink deep. She feeds for many. Beneath her bridal train hangs bent and twisted in the filthy waters. Gently we guide her out through the lampless passageways, out to meet ecstasy, to meet death. To the birth of a unique being. For soon the dark millennium will fall, and the world will be a different place, requiring different species. Cataracts will occlude the sun, shutting out its hateful light, and fabulous life forms shall flourish and struggle beneath the perpetual stars. Her eyes are trusting and bovine, drugged with blissful maternity. She smiles at us through clouded waters. From her sea-changed body shall come the new generation, begotten in depths, born in violence, suckled in shadow. Raised in Rosewood, I brush the soil, the clinging root fibers from my limbs. I am whole and I am reached my destination. The soil that fed me is powdery. The soil that fed me is powdery and drained of nutrients. Last time my regrowth took 2 weeks. This time only hours. I walk down to the water's edge. The absence of birdsong underlines the hush of the evening. I look out across the stagnant, flooded valley. Just for an instant, I see the lake transform to blood, clotted with lily pads of deepest burgundy. The smell is overwhelming. The vision fades, and I am alone with the impassive water. Evening. Took your time getting here, didn't you?
Constantine. Who are you, Constantine? Why have you led me to this place?
Well, perhaps you could look at me as your new manager. I brought you to Rosewood to clean up the mess that you left behind the last time.
Last time? You know that I was here before.
Well, you're not the most inconspicuous geezer in the world, and I've got some very good researchers. You were here 2 years ago, before the flood.
If you know of the flood, you know that I left no mess behind me. All the creatures infesting Rosewood died in the running water.
Did they really? Is that including the ones in the supermarket?
Supermarket?
That's right. In the freezer units where they kept during the day, completely airtight, those freezers. Yeah, it was just sunset when the flood hit. Not all of them were up yet, were they?
But the running water, it would destroy them.
In airtight freezers, it never even touched them. All they had to do was wait until the water stopped running and became still. Still and deep and stagnant.
But how can they survive underwater without air?
Same way they can live in coffins underground. They don't need air. See, the virus that causes vampirism is anaerobic. It doesn't like oxygen. I'm going to say, transpose a bat in the foreground when talking about vampires chasing a butterfly. It's a wonder they even thought of living underwater centuries ago. You did them a real favor, mate. It's a wonder they never thought of living underwater. Nikki, I came back, Nikki, like I said. I'm killing myself. So sorry. Vampires have one disadvantage. They're useless in daylight. Any gathering of them attracts attention with men with stakes to let air into their bodies. That's why they've never had organized vampire segments. Until now. Hello, Howard. They're living down there in the Rosewood, totally unmolested. Having a stable community has opened up lots of opportunities for them. They can settle down after years of hiding. They can breed. Uh-oh. Hello, Howard. I hope that's not Nuke Face. He calls everyone Ed. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's Nikki, and Nikki has been transformed into a vampire. Thought he was pretty much dead. Breed like flies. Nikki. Oh, man, we were so scared. We thought you were dead.
But why? Now, after 2 years?
Because they can feel something in the air. Big things are happening in the world, mate. What's going on in the Rosewood is just the first taste of what's coming. Just the merest touch. Geez, Nikki, you better find some clothes. You're freezing. Not yet. I want to swim again. Swim? You're crazy. It's late. We got to get out of here. Swim first. Come on, Howard. Down to the water. Nikki, hey, look. Look out. My shoes are getting wet. Nikki, hey, let go of my arm. I don't like this stuff. I don't like being out here on our own. On our own? But Howard, we're not on our own. Sad, because Howard was the only good one that cared enough and had enough compassion. But that's been an ongoing theme as well, you know. Happened to Treasure a couple of episodes ago, or a couple of issues ago. People with compassion are not long for this world sometimes. Even though Abby has it, and she even went to hell. Oh God, Nikki, please! Up above, near the shoreline, a violent splashing shudders out through the motionless water. She smiles, knowing that her offspring will not go hungry. As we lead her out into the birthing place, her eyes grow bright and clear. She stands alone, waiting for so still, so silent, so impossibly calm. Nikki, please, I came back for you. Don't. In the center of the field, we release her, the momentum carrying her massive body forward to where her lover stands. They meet, they touch, they embrace. Nikki! But then her great body bucks and heaves as a burden within it released into the clinging green water. We stand mute with wonder at the grace of her convulsions. Her lover jackknives in the murk above the eggs, a single whiplash of white in the blackness, and it is complete. They have both opened their bodies to the oxygen-bearing water now. The end will not be long.
I did not come here for warnings of Armageddon. You promised me knowledge about myself.
Yeah, knowledge don't come cheap. In fact, sometimes the price is astronomical. They have made the final sacrifice like salmon after spawning. They thrash weakly, decaying even in life. Dying, they are the greatest among us. Linking our hands, we honor them. We circle round.
You evade my questions, Constantine. This game that you play is dangerous.
Faster and faster, we spin a pale carousel, careening through the submarine dark. The lovers are quite disintegrated now, a suspension of pale flakes in the churning water. No matter their death has its function. They did the required thing of them. They did the thing required of them. First, you take care of business here. Then perhaps we talk. Round and round we go, round and round and round. The eggs cast a milky and opalescent light, like the neon tumors of lanternfish. Gray shapes twist within them. New life, new and savage and unknowable. The shells bulge and ripple as the fetal blurs inside them spasm with the joy and agony of existence. A membrane begins to tear, and then another. The moment has arrived. Well, it begins. There. Now we're both over our heads. Next, a fish story. So something was genuinely enraged that he came all this way and he's gotten very little or no information from Constantine. But Constantine basically told him that he needs to take care of the situation with the supermarket vampires first. And things have gotten worse because they've just hatched a whole bunch of vampire saplings, guppies, whatever you want to call them. Fry, I guess that would be the accurate term. And so I guess Swamp Thing's going to address that. And Constantine is also concerned about other matters as well, including the coming of Satan. I'm not sure if that's this or not. Next is a fish story, and we'll read that one too. And it looks terrifying. Sort of an abstract egg with a hand bursting out. No cover credits this time. This is their neighborhood. This is the place where they are safe. Now, William, you listen. You gonna tell me what happened to Howard and Nikki, you little snot, or, Dad, please, you're hurting me. I didn't do anything. Yeah, so a lot of things, even though William was kind of a jerk, he's abused by his father, as we've seen. There's been a lot of elements of abuse as well. Safe to live and worship as they choose. Safe to raise their children. It is the children that are important. Where are they? Slap, crack. Neighborhood must protect its children, for they are the blood of the community. They are at the heart of all its values. No harm must come to the children. They're in the water at Rosewood. We left them in the water. Rosewood. A delivery truck lies belly up, minnows feasting upon its innards. The flooded stores still ring with the submarine echo of dead conversations, a rippling shoal of voices, all talking at once. There were leeches. We left Nicky in the water, but Howard went back for him. Oh, God, Nicky. Joan, easy. William, I told you to keep away from Rosewood. This place holds their past and their future. This is their neighborhood. And I have come to deliver a blow from which it will not recover. Was he drowned? Was my son drowned? If Howie's out there, I'm going to look for him. I'll get the car. This is a place where they are safe, and I have come to destroy it. A monster threatens their community. They will defend it by whatever means are necessary. Of course, juxtaposing Swamp Thing's arrival to the vampires and the vampires threatening the community of Rosewood. And we're back to the creative team of Steve Bissett and John Tolibin. Tatiana Wood, John Costanza, Karen Berger editing. In the stagnant darkness at my back, there is a churning. They have found me. I had not imagined that there would be so many of them. They nuzzle with water-shriveled lips, like pale and scuttling crabs. Their cold hands are everywhere. Escape is not possible. Nicky, please, Nicky, just let me go. Well, the good news is that he's still alive. I can't do that, Howie. There's no need to be scared. After the first bite, you don't feel anything. Howie, you're not going to cry, are you? Nicky, well, why haven't they already done that to me? What did they do to you? Because they're saving you, dummy. Just a moment, please. Squeak. They're saving you for the feast of the firstborn. They told me when it hatches, it'll be hungry. Children are best. There's no fat or nicotine or poison in their blood, see? I mean, animals are pretty good, but children are caviar. It's a great line, but a little questionable how he would know this since he had just turned into a vampire, so I don't think he's fed on any children before. Its taste is vile, of palates accustomed to the subtlety of hemoglobins, and the green flesh is acrid and bitter. It has no blood. They can't bite and suck the blood from the Swamp Thing. The earth's strength moves within it, ancient and crushing and terrible. Beneath its gnarled and massive fist we explode, releasing our stolen scarlet, like fleas cracked by a thumbnail. Fantastic line. We cannot fight against this bloodless giant, but he is slow as grave moss, while we are quicksilver. He can be avoided. He can be herded to the place of the nativity. The stadium entrance gapes, its turnstiles like rotted teeth. I am swallowed whole by the stinking darkness. Beyond the football field has grown a lank and luxuriant green mane. A carton of popcorn floats past. They are gathered on the center line, limp and white and slowly circling, scraps of litter caught in slow motion whirlwind. Their marbled faces are turned towards the glow, awash with the flickering light, suffused with a hideous rapture, as their children scrabble forth into the rancid, freezing murk of their first day. It's so dark. Don't worry, Miss Shapiro. Kids will be around here someplace, probably fooling around. Kids these days don't give a damn what time they're supposed to be in. But what if, you hear so many terrible things. Joan, listen, Nicky will be okay, I promise. I'm going to look for Howie. You want to go the opposite way? Cool as a cucumber, your wife, huh? I like that in a woman. But that Joan Shapiro, geez, blubbering and whining as she was my old lady, Osgood, please, we're looking for our kids. Hey, don't take offense, I was only... Tammy, what is it? We found the children. I think there's something wrong with Nicky. I think the children have hurt each other. Yeah. The eggs shatter, tumbling away in fragile and luminous splinters. Hungry and glistening, they emerge, testing the water about them, stretching their razor-studded mouths experimentally, and then they begin to eat each other. Within seconds, there is only a seething of teeth, a churning of shredded white tissue. The dancers circle. Their remote and cod-like eyes glitter with parental adoration. I watch transfixed. The weak are devoured by the strong, who are ground between the jaws of the stronger yet. Natural selection is accelerated to a frantic holocaust of bone and madness and cannibalism, and in the end, only one remains alive. So from the host mother, that gigantic host mother, all of these little horrific looking, they look like the deep sea creatures that you see with the, emerged, and then they all destroy each other until only one survives. And so this one is going to be very powerful. You see some pretty funny laba lick slurk sound effects there. And this one may be a problem for Swamp Thing, indeed. I don't think you can kill Swamp Thing because, as we see now, his consciousness can just go back into the earth. But you can certainly tear apart his body. Massive and bloated, gorged upon his siblings, it pauses and takes stock of its surroundings. It licks pulp from the dreadful splattered talons and considers what to do next. That is a luxury I cannot allow myself. I've delayed for far too long. Already, at my approach, it lifts from its resting place with unexpected rapidity and grace, and then it turns and swims away into the darkness until it is no longer visible. Can I have frightened it away so easily? No. In the black waters ahead, I can just see it. It's stopped. It's turning. Here it comes. And it turns. It gains momentum. Becomes this very almost abstraction. Speed, and violently crashes, just shredding through his midsection and limbs, tearing off arms and legs. Oops, go again. So fast, it came at me so fast. and he is decapitated. I watch as it attempts to eat my hand. Repulsed, it spits out the mangled green confetti and moves on to look for warmer and more satisfying fare. My body is beyond repair. I let it go. And my consciousness diffuses out into the dreaming undergrowth. I have been defeated. My body was not strong enough to withstand the creature's assault. It is my own fault. I am too human in the way I think, in the way I fight. I must learn to exploit the possibilities of what I am. My intelligence is a web of filaments and fibers. Its strands hum with information, bringing me word of the distant trees of the nearby root systems. I shape the disparate facts into a single coherent image. I feel the contours of the massive stagnant reservoir that Rosewood sleeps beneath. I run mental fingers along its edges, exploring its banks and shallows. Beyond, I sense the rushing of the once dammed river, and I know what I must do. If he can just channel the rushing water back into this area, then I suppose that would kill everything, because they can deal with stagnant water, but apparently not moving water. But I don't know if I can. Nikki, what's wrong? It's Mommy. Nikki, let me help you. Mommy, I'm cold, and I'm too frightened to move. You'll have to come and get me. Uh-oh. Yeah, he's like, kill his own mother. Uh-oh. No. Miss Shapiro, don't go near him. He isn't Nikki anymore. Howie. Oh, God, he's alive. Jack, cut him loose. Nikki, I'm coming. Joan, I don't think you should. There's something funny. He's my little boy. He's all right. Oh, Nikki. Oh, Mom. Oh, jeez. Joan. Nikki, you leave her be. Great God, Nikki, she's your mother. She mustn't. All right, well, that's a tragedy. Nikki killed his own mother. Again, compassion. Once again, gets someone killed. And things are getting worse. What are you going to do about it, Dad? You're useless. Dad, you weren't there to save me. You always said you would be there, and you weren't. You won't save Mom either. You're too late. It's here. Yeah, she's dead. And they may all be dead. Swamp Thing has to rescue them. I don't think Howie's gonna die. Oh, Joan? Schluck. Oh, he's dead too. It's alright, I got it. Hot damn. Osgood, for God's sake, just run. Get to the car. I tell you, it's okay. I hit it right between the crotch. You know, he kind of deserved it. Osgood, oh God. What if he's still alive? Mom, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, geez. Will both of you just get into the car? The lake lies stagnant where the river left it to die. A strip of land is all that stands between the two. I feel my way into the roots that knot within the powdery soil. I gather myself into the heart of the root web. Its tendrils become my sinews. My arms are 2 miles long, encircling the stale obsidian depths. I begin to flex my muscles. Look how gigantic he is. There's trees on top of his mountainous face. And now he's genuinely controlling the environment. He's not just fighting like a man, as he said, where he's just a giant vegetable punching people. Alan Moore, once again, has expanded all of the aspects and elements of the character and created something so much more imaginative. and the solid earth shifts and ripples like water. I bunch my fist and the soil convulses. What is it? I don't know. An earthquake. Keep driving. I shrug my vast and buried shoulders, and the waters of Rosewood rejoin the mother current that birthed them. He essentially destroyed the earthen dam that separated the river from that pond. And that is the answer. The water. The water is moving. It no longer stands content in its own slime and putrefaction. It runs eager to rejoin the river, running water. One by one, we melt. Flesh suddenly made liquid. Our skeletons undress themselves. Why must we be destroyed? We ask for so very little. Only a home that we could call our own. Some livestock to provide our food. That would be humans. And a safe place to raise our children. In other words, they're like human homesteaders. Hey, all we asked for was a little bit of land, a home that we could call our own, some livestock, and a safe place for our children. And of course, the livestock are human beings. Their children are absolute monsters. The water level drops. The slime-shrouded buildings rise up. We are dissolving into the cold and rushing darkness. Cool image. And Constantine sees that something succeeded. Later, hanging from the wires. Well, where are you? Come on. I haven't got all bloody day. Schwupp. Woog fit popadak schlot. Fit knit wick feech. It's like Rick Feech. Wick feech. Wink. Whit. Snit schwin.
Well, Constantine.
Complete regeneration in 51 seconds. That's pretty good. I told you if you learned something, you'd learn something if you stuck with me. Well, he's right about that. That was an important thing to learn.
Constantine, I kept my bargain and cleaned up the mess. I require more knowledge than that in exchange.
For a botched job like this, you're joking.
Botched.
A kid and his parents survived. They got out to tell the story. The whole point was to stop that from happening. You see, the story will get bigger in the telling. Fish stories always do. Before you know where you are, everybody within 50 miles believes in vampires a little bit more. Just as they planned it. Use your head. The people who are behind all this, they're planning something very big, but they need the right sort of atmosphere to make it happen. They've picked the right time, too. What with all these red skies, the funny weather patterns we've been having. Anyway, I've got to go. I'll see you in Kenniscook, Maine in 2 weeks' time.
Kenniscook, Maine. Constantine, I do not like you.
You don't have to. See you in Kenniscook then. So Constantine's running him all around the country. But presumably, Kenniscook is where the next supernatural happening will occur. See you in Kenniscook then?
Perhaps. Blop.
So essentially he's dissolved into the ground and will probably be back in the bayou with Abby. He flicks a cigarette on top of him. And immediately lights another one because he is absolutely a chain smoker. Don't worry. There'll be 3 showing up at once in a couple of minutes. Dedicated to the memory of the late Greg Irons. The Curse. I can't say that I'm familiar with Greg Irons, but I'm tempted to say that he was probably, I don't think he was probably a horror actor or one of these guys who wears a suit, but I'm sorry that I don't know his name. I don't think he was a cartoonist or a comics artist or someone associated with comics, but I may be wrong about that. Anyway, that is the end, and next episode is The Curse, next issue, I should say. Let's see the cover here. Very cool. A wolf howling at the moon, so may get a little splash of werewolves. Get a red moon, and very ironic because within a day or two we have a very rare blood wolf supermoon. So something, I think that's what it is. It's not only a blood moon or a supermoon, but it is a blood wolf supermoon. And this cover is a blood wolf supermoon in its own way. So be back with episode 7 soon enough, but I hope you enjoyed that. And thanks for listening, for the few people who are. And by all means, feel free to comment and I'll be happy to respond. Thanks very much and goodbye.